Here. The other day I got a package in the mail from Androidvirus down in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And upon opening, where I got a bottle of booze, I got some books, I got some cards, I got a whole bunch of stuff. He sent me this book, this Monsters book from 1979. It is a fantastic read from 1979 for so many reasons. First off, it is terribly written. Every article is just, it's just awful. The people who put this together. But I mean, this was a main publication, Famous Monsters. This is actually book number 156, and August of 1979. It was $2.25 then. I mean, that's fairly expensive, but there's a bunch of things. Like, it shows you how much of a golden and great era it was for film, particularly horror film, in and around 1979. They talk about in one of the first articles, they talk about movies that are coming out very shortly of The Humanoid, Altered States, Jaws 3. Omen 3, Superman 2, Village of the Damned, The Lost Flight of Noah's Ark, which I haven't heard about that film forever. Altered States, we said that already. Ghost Story, Amityville Horror, Dawn of the Dead, Saturn 3, and these Monsters Club. So these were all movies that they were talking about in some form of production that were coming out shortly. You get a book now, and it usually talks about independent horror films or a Paranormal Activity or an Insidious. This was really the golden age. I love, as I continue to go through this, there's a long article about The Empire Strikes Back, and what I love about all their articles is basically all they're doing is revealing the plot, pages and pages of telling you just exactly what's going to happen, spoilers included. Let me see. So we get past. There's an article about The Empire Strikes Back. Then there's a great article about. Let me see, how do I hold this up? About Moonraker, right? So the latest James Bond film at that particular time. 007 gets near to heaven the hard way via a blast to outer space. Yeah. So it basically then talks about the plot, but then it gets into some other information. It says that, let me see. Technically speaking, Moonraker is near perfect. Great care was taken in building the sets, designing the rockets, and the laboratories. Every attention to detail was painstakingly handled by the best men in the business. Now, anybody who remembers this film, even if you don't remember, it was the worst James Bond film out of the entire 25 series. It is awful. The special effects were laughable. It was, and when it talks about the music for this film, it says, John Barry wrote the music for 7 of the 10 Bond films, and has come through again for Moonraker. The score is said to be a chart topper. Yeah, that just didn't really work out, did it? Moonraker is sure to join the ranks of other Bond films and will be remembered as a first-rate movie. It will also be recognized as one of the truly great space spectacles. Bond in orbit, a starman named 007. Just terrible writing, but on top of that, they couldn't be further from the truth. It was almost as if the studio wrote this themselves and tried to get it all in there. And tried to get you salivating for this piece of shit film. The next article, you can see the Incredible Melting Man right there, talks about 1978. So it talks about the year that just finished and how great it was. And again, here's where it just blows my mind as to how good it was back then. They talk about The Omen and Superman, and Halloween had just come out, The Incredible Melting Man, It Lives Again, Kingdom of the Spiders, Capricorn 1, Invasion of the Body Snatchers was a 1978 film, The Manitou, Piranha. So they really, this list of movies, it was just fantastic, the 1978. They do have some stuff which I don't necessarily understand. Again, maybe it's the writing as far as Halloween goes. They go director John Carpenter's intense direction, adds immeasurably to this frightening film about a superhuman killer stalking his prey on Halloween Eve in a quiet little Illinois town. I guess it means town, but it was spelt wrong. But he really didn't become superhuman. He was just kind of human in the first one. It kind of got weird as it went on, but well, there was also Halloween Day. It wasn't all just Halloween Eve. But anyway, let all that go. Damien, Omen 2, it says, first-rate sequel to The Omen is handsomely produced, well acted by William Holden and Lee Grant, and effectively directed by Don Taylor. Damien sets out to scare the viewer and succeeds through some cinematically creative death scenes. The sinister fate of the girl reporter and that unforgettable elevator scene stand out in particular. They must stand out, because I don't remember them. Here's what I love about Superman. Superman was came out in and around that time. Superman. Paramount is spending $35 million to do a movie about Superman? The idea of a major studio spending that much money on some comic strip absurdity while ignoring a vast quantity of sophisticated science fiction novels written over the vast 50-odd years appalled me, so much that I plan to ignore the hype and boycott the movie. Superman. Later on, as in the magazine, we read that this particular writer was finally persuaded to check out the film in all its 70mm Dolby stereo size glory, and I was pleasantly surprised to discover Superman lives up to the hype. The excellent direction, beautiful cinematography, and a wealth of mind-blasting visual effects, all enhanced by superior Dolby stereo sound effects, combined to make Superman the fantasy epic of the year. Here's the quote that I like the most. I actually preferred it to Star Wars, and it's already got me thirsting for a sequel. So this nitwit didn't even want to see it for a reason that was just beyond ludicrous, just to say that he didn't want to see it for the most part, and then he thought Superman was a good film. It was no Star Wars. The book goes on, or the magazine, goes on, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. What a great era. And then we get to The Amazing Alien. So, Alien had yet to come out. So they talk about Alien, but again, all they do is pretty much go through the script and tell you everything that is possibly going to happen. That the creature is scary, we knew that. It's a first-class... even the newest James Bond epic, Moonraker. Let me see, what is this? In movie after movie, aliens were attacking and taking over, invading us, our minds, our cities, our bodies, and every time we were able to call in the Army or the Navy or the local police, there was always someone to help out. Even in the newest James Bond epic, Moonraker, a gang of space marines saves the day. But not against aliens. Alright, a whole bunch of other stupid stuff in the fucking book. Stupid stuff in the book. What do we got going on after that? Some more articles. Oh, a great... It talks about The Tourist Trap. Wonderful, underrated horror film. But again, it's 4 pages of just telling you the script like, ultimately, he is impaled by a lead pipe hurled at him by some unseen force. A violent poltergeist, perhaps? We hope at first to have our answer when Jerry, Becky, Molly, and Aline converge on the gas station. Here to find no trace of Woody and no disturbance of any kind, just an abandoned service station and Woody's flat tire. All right, thanks for telling me about the guy that gets impaled. Appreciate that. It talks about, we get a little picture from War of the Gargantuas. Do you remember that? Is that a bad? Can you see that picture? War of the Gargantuas. And then it's got the wonderful stuff. We all remember this from back when we used to collect magazines of different masks and the costs or busts, or there's pages and pages of Star Wars figures that you can buy, and then also their magazines if you wanted to get a back issue, which was all there. So it's just I'm so happy that Androidvirus sent this to me, because it is so fascinatingly bad, and yet it just brings back all the memories. I was born I was born a long time before 1978, but I lived through this, and just to go back and reimagine what it must have been, and what I must have felt back then with Alien and Empire that Strikes Back and Halloween and a Jaws film and The Omen and everything in and around that period getting pressed. Just fabulous. So anyway, Monsters. Famous Monsters number 150, number 156. Anybody else want to send me some magazines? Please feel free.